Dice have been used in music for centuries, and today we will learn 2 music games which utilize dice, plus how to create our own games using them. Coming right up. So I guess I'm going through the entries from the Fakest book in order. Entry number 1 was an improv game titled Game Over, which I already made a video for, and if you haven't, you can check that video out by clicking the link above. The second entry was Terry Riley's in C, which I already did a video for as well, and you can check that out. The third entry is for another improv game, and this game I haven't played in years, but I've used the concept many times in creating other music games. It's a game based around the use of dice as the central device to control the improvisation. In the Fakest book, this game is titled Diced Music. We'll also have a quick look at an entry from later in the Fakest book, because it also fits into the dice theme. From what I remember, dice music was inspired and created for a friend and fellow musician, Charles-Eric Billard. This game was created for a concert we had featuring him and Zemalo. If you watched any of my other videos explaining events or event lists, then this game should be pretty easy for you to understand. The game is nothing more than creating 3 distinct event lists and rolling a die before you play to randomly choose one event from each list to instruct how to improvise. First, we start with 3 lists. These can be changed any way you like in order to work with your setup and the number of players involved. Here is an example of working with a group of 5 players or more using one 6-sided die. Number 1, the number of players to perform according to the number rolled. So, for example, if you roll a 3, then you must choose 3 players to come up and play for this round. The person who rolls the die will choose the players. I prefer to use the 1 to allow anyone to join. Number 2, atmosphere. We must create a list of ideas that deal with musical atmospheres. Everyone must play according to these rules. These are the ideas I have in the game instructions from the Fakest book. They're made to be freely interpreted by the players. 3, instruments. The final list is what instrument to play or how to play them. Everyone must play according to these rules. Here's an example list. Some other ideas that can be used for these kind of lists for dice music. Alright, about the die, I recommend using big dice. I found this one at a dollar store, or you can easily make your own. The idea of using dice in music has been around for a long time. Perhaps one of the most famous pieces is a musikalische Wurfspielpiece, attributed to Mozart and his publisher. These dice games were quite popular during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Let's take a quick look at how Mozart's dice game works. We need 2 6-sided dice, and the musical phrases that correspond to the numbers rolled. Here's a graph I made to help explain things. First, a dice is rolled. If it rolls a 2, for example, you start with this phrase. If it's a 3, this one. A 4, this one, and so on. Then, you move to the next measure. Perhaps you rolled an 8, so you use this one next. Then you continue until the last measure. In keeping with the form of a minuet, the first 8 bars are repeated. Then you move to the next section, which uses different phrases. These days, dice are often used for musical games in classrooms to teach children about music. Of course, we can continue to think up new ways to use them for all kinds of musical games and algorithmic composition and improvisation. What can you do with the use of dice in your music? I hope these ideas can help you come up with your own games or compositional techniques. Don't forget to like, subscribe, visit my Patreon page, or I don't have a Patreon page. I don't need your money, whatever. Anyway, see you next time right here at Not Right Music.